Hey everyone! So I'm back with a video where I'm talking. I know. I've been doing like, I have to get these 3 looks 1 palettes out the door. It's just been crazy. Like, I've just had so much to do and I've not been filming to my max capacity because I don't know what happened, but starting in October it was like my allotted ration of 2021 energy just emptied out and I've been so tired. This is gonna be kind of an indie makeup focused thing for the eyes anyways. I want to show you what I got. I'm really excited. So might surprise you, but I actually chose to skip the Cleonid sale this year. It happened at a really inconvenient time for me and I just mentally was not prepared. I had no list ready, so I was unable to really shop the sale because with Cleona having such a vast selection to pick from, you really have to like do your research in advance. Bad to the Brow had a fabulous swatch video, but I just was not in the right mental space to think about it, so I passed on it this year. But I definitely did add to my TERRA MOONS collection. So everything past Phoenix over here, so these shades down all the way down to here are all new. So we're gonna dig into these. Obviously I'm only gonna be able to use maybe 1 or 2, but I'm really excited. I love my TERRA MOONS collection and I feel like keeping it in this palette is really easy for me to kind of limit myself from buying too much because I only have room for 1 more. And I don't really want to buy another empty palette just yet because I don't want to buy too much. Blend Bunny Cosmetics, the Blends palette. And then they had a sale on the Wednesday before Black Friday for 25% off, and it seems with the release of the Surge palette, they've really suddenly like hit like a really explosive period of growth, which I think is absolutely amazing because I went to look at Blend Bunny's founder's Instagram and like, is that even possible to make eyeshadow that complicated and beautiful? I had no idea. But I'm so excited to own this and I'm really excited to try using this. So I'm gonna pair the mattes in this with some of the shades in my TERRA MOONS collection. I think that'll make for a really fun look. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. This is actually my 2nd video I'm filming today, so my creativity might be a little... So I just washed my face of makeup and I'm filming again, so I am gonna just use a hydrating mist really quickly just to kind of breathe life back into my skin. I just need a little bit of hydration before I go in with primer and foundation because I usually don't film 2 looks in 1 day. It's not the greatest thing to do for your skin, but I had some extra energy. I had some spare spoons. So if you see any like black lines around my eyes, it's just mascara that I didn't take all the way off. All right, now we're gonna go into primer. I'm using my Dominique Cosmetics primer. I was using my Laneige primer more often recently because I like didn't want to run out of this, but I mean, what's the point of having something if you're not going to use it up, right? So, and in my previous video, I forgot to use my under eye primer, so I felt like my skin was looking pretty nasty, but this time I'm not going to forget to do that. My under eye primer. I do have a couple of years and roundup videos in the works. They're just not ready yet. And one of those videos is going to be a JACLYN Cosmetics roundup video where I'm essentially going to tier all of the releases I've tried from her this year, which is pretty, I think, exhaustive. Thanks to Morphe having such amazing sales on her products, I've tried actually a lot more than I thought I would. The only thing I haven't tried from her are her normal liquid lipsticks, but I don't know if I'd be helpful for that because I don't like most Western liquid lipsticks. So I'm going to be ranking them from like, you know, basically I'm going to rank them from like really bad to really good. I think that should be good for people who like are super sus of her brand, which fair reaction. So, but spoiler alert, I feel like it's like on average, like what I would rank her stuff at is what I would rank a lot of other brand stuff at. I feel like the distribution was pretty average. I like had wet this earlier and it's still pretty damp, so I'm just gonna keep using this. I don't feel like going to my sink right now. I'm gonna use the GIORGIO Armani Designer Lift Foundation. I don't want anything super dewy. I feel like it's gonna compete with the eye look, but I don't have anything super full coverage in my collection right now because I got rid of all of my matte full coverage foundations a long time ago, so this is kind of the closest thing I have to it. And with this sponge being semi-dried out, it kind of takes down the dewiness a little bit, so worked out in the end for me. And since my skin is feeling pretty dry, I'm gonna be liberally using this between basically every layer of my makeup. It's just the D'Alba setting spray. It'll just kind of keep me from feeling super dry. I'm gonna go in with my concealer. I do also plan on making a kind of year-end roundup of stuff I used most often. I feel like most of it probably shouldn't be super surprising. Some of it might be, but I don't think most of it will come as a surprise, particularly my concealer. I mean, my concealer has not changed in a very long time. They have like a cream foundation that's kind of like this, but it's larger and it's a foundation. I don't know if the coverage is like any different from the concealer since it is like a pretty stiff cream foundation, but it had been out of stock for a really long time on Beauty Box Korea, and that is literally the only place I've ever found where I can get JX Professional. So I did buy that just because it had come back in stock and I was like, well, better late than never. and I don't want it to go out of stock on me again. Concealer keeps coming in and out of stock too, so sometimes you can find it, sometimes you can't. But I did get that cream foundation. Like, a part of me wants to think it'll be like similar to a concealer, because then I would have it like in a giant I would have it in a giant thing and it would just be one shade. I definitely want to make sure I have a good eye base down, and I'm gonna put the eye base down before I do my eyebrows. I feel like the only thing that Blend Bunny, aside from eyeshadow palettes, has to make now is an eyeshadow primer. If she made an eyeshadow primer, I feel like then we would have like the holy trifecta of eye makeup, you know? Her brushes seem really good. Like, just looking at them, the shapes are like amazing. And I'm not using any setting powder yet just because my skin feels so dry. I think I'm probably just gonna like avoid setting powder in this video. I'm gonna use my Brow Wiz. I'm just gonna fill in my brows really quickly. I'll probably just kind of skip through most of this. I don't like to not include me doing my brows, but I definitely feel like with each video I do, I wonder how if it becomes more and more redundant. Okay, but definitely do your brows on set skin. Like, at least put powder on your brows, because I made a mistake. Brow products slip around a lot if you don't set it first. And then I'm gonna use the NYX brow pen, and I'm just gonna fill in the fronts. Okay, not my best work ever, but it'll do. So if you had asked me maybe like 6 to 8 months ago which multi-chrome brand to buy from, if budget wasn't like a concern or anything, I definitely would have said Cleonid. But in the wake of TERRA Moons' most recent releases throughout 2021, particularly these new ones, I have to say I've got to give it to TERRA Moons for having just some of the most unique shifts I don't see in other brands, or shifts that I'm only just now seeing in other brands. And I'm gonna start off with like my normal brushes. I'll start off with those first, and I might break out my blend set later. So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous, but these apparently are like just like beyond amazing, so I am excited. So I think first I'm actually gonna go in with a mix of these two shades down here. I'm just gonna use this to kind of set my eye base. I'm just nervous my eye base might be too tacky. Right now I'm just using an eye brush from Spectrum Collections. It was a Hello Kitty collaboration. These brushes are super slept on. They're actually super soft, and I totally recommend these. Maybe someday when I have the spare change, I want to go back and buy more brushes from this brand, because these are like so soft, and they're synthetic, so they're really low maintenance. Okay, so I just wanted to lay that down just to kind of make sure that nothing would stick too bad. Why don't we go ahead and start with Bubble Bath? This will be new for me. I've never really used. I'm gonna start with Bubble Bath, and I'm just gonna like whip that everywhere. I'm super nervous because I know blues usually don't show up super well on me, so this is just gonna be like the base matte, and I'm gonna darken it. I'm gonna darken up from there. I can definitely say it's blending out really well. So they weren't lying about the whole blending out super easily thing. I will definitely say for this shade being what it is, I feel like I didn't have to put that much effort into making it look pretty good. So I basically bought everything that she currently has for sale on her site, since there's not too much. So this is gonna be the set, and you can see that the handles are different colors, because she kind of was saying that like you start out with the lightest color, and as you go down in color, you go down in the darkness of the handle. It's a really neat visual way to kind of indicate what the brushes are supposed to be used for. And as you can see, these brushes are all tiny, which I think is amazing, especially if you have smaller eyes, or if you just want to do precise work. These are really great. And I'm going to go into 32, which is literally just right next door. And basically I'm just going from like lightest to darkest, since I want everything to be dark so that the multi-chrome shows up really intensely, but I'm just kind of going from light to dark just so that I don't like intimidate myself, I guess. I don't know. And I'm really getting like no fallout, which I think is the craziest part for sure. And this shade on this brush, you can see builds up really quickly to the point where I almost feel like I put on too much. Now blues always pull really weird on me, so if it's looking like a bruise, it's not like the eyeshadow's bad quality. I have olive undertones. So I have not worn these colors eyeshadows like ever, I think, so I'm like not really sure how I look right now. I feel like I look really strange, but it's really exciting too. Like, I'm totally using colors I like have no comfort using, but I want to like challenge myself more. Brushes are very soft. I'm not having any issues with them so far. I'm not having any issues with this brush so far. I don't have very much lid space, but if I'm doing something super out there and super colorful, it's just going to go. It's going up to my brow bone, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. Yeah, for considering that these are like bright blues, I am not having much trouble working with these like at all, which I think is so insane. Alright, so lastly for the color part, I'm gonna go into Submerged, which again we're just stepping through, and I'm gonna switch again to an even darker brush. I'm gonna switch to this brush right here, which has a darker gray. Gonna even go darker. Okay, so I got like a little, some of the particles like flew off my brush and hit my inner corner, which is kind of annoying, but I wouldn't consider that fallout. I was like moving my hand kind of violently, I guess. So this shade, not quite the depth that I need, so I'm thinking about using the black after this actually. I am definitely blown away by just how little difficulty I feel like I'm having. Like, it's not as easy to work with as like a brown or an orange. This is a bright blue and I'm working through these pretty quickly. I'm gonna take a clean brush. So I'm gonna take the white handled brush from the Blend Bunny set and I'm just gonna try and, my left eye is misbehaving, so and these Blend Bunny brushes are really good and this set is not that expensive. Okay, so I do need to kind of work down and deepen this up even more, which is scary, but I want these multi-chromes to really pop. So I'm going to go into Spellbound. I don't really want to use a black today, but I'm going to use this, which is like significantly darker. I think that'll be good. We're going to try it and see what happens. I am amazed. I have not gotten any fallout to the point where it's irritating. I'm not seeing any. Like, that's just incredible. Okay, yeah, this is a dark blue. And it's just like, pow. Like, it's just a punch of pigment. Now, do I fully expect these to stain at the end of the day? I kind of do. I'll definitely put in the description if they stained. Okay, so I have like the teeniest flecks of fallout, but it's so little that I don't care that it's there. Like, it's like so little. Yeah, I'm definitely super pleased with this so far. Okay, I accidentally kind of pushed my brush in too far. That was like a total accident. So I am just gonna take the white shade and just kind of use that out. That was totally my bad. I just like smacked my face with the brush basically. I am gonna take the darkest brush here, which actually is fluffy, and I presume it's because it's like once you reach the darkest stages, sometimes the eyeshadow is not super perfectly even. So I would presume this is kind of meant to be like the fluffy brush for the darkest blending, just to make sure even those shades turn out perfectly smooth, which I think is excellent. I'm just going to use this to tidy up. My left eye sometimes, well, frequently doesn't turn out quite as nice as my right eye. I'm just going to go over it using this tiny brush, and I'm alternating between Submerged and Spellbound. And I'll tell you, these eyeshadows troubleshoot themselves very easily. I have a cat hair up my nose. That's what was bothering me. So with that all being said, let's move on to TERRA Moons, which is a good deal larger than Blend Bunny. They just had a really big celebration with follower milestones, which congrats to TERRA Moons. Still a small business, especially in the eyes of like a mega corporation, I guess, you know, everything's relative. I'm gonna use, as I mentioned earlier, I'm using Starburst, Shattered Stars. Sorry, Starburst is a completely different shade. This is Shattered Stars right here. It looks unremarkable on the camera, but I'm gonna put out my eyes and I'm gonna show you guys just how amazing this looks. So here's it on my finger, and now you can see it looks very different. I wave my hand around. And this is gonna look really interesting layered on top of this blue eyeshadow, so that's gonna add even more layers to this. And I'm just running this across my entire eyelid. Now if you want these to be punchier, or if you want these to be more opaque, then definitely use some kind of glitter adhesive. I will say, especially if you use a finger, these shadows honestly need very little assistance. You really would only be doing that if you are using a brush and want to avoid any fallout. I use my finger to apply these, and it's just so pretty. These are beautiful. And they have lots of shades for you to pick from at this point, so you're bound to find something that inspires you. Honestly, a lot of their new shades were giving me really super duper heavy Monster Hunter vibes. Like, they reminded me of Monster Hunter monsters. So that is what that eyeshadow is looking like, and like I said, it's just like, it is just beyond beautiful. And if I were to put this on a different color base, it'll look different again. Like, me putting this on a blue base, it looks this way, but if you put it on like a black base, or like even just on the bare eyelid, it'll look completely different. So I'm gonna rub some on the back of my hand. So here it is on the back of my hand, and you can see it shifts. You can see the camera picks up mostly purple, but it also has green in it too. So like, here's my finger, and you see how the finger, you're seeing some of the green. So if I just kind of hold these both up, you can really see just how many varied colors. Like I'm not even counting 3 at this point. It feels like there's 5 or 6 colors in this. I hope you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay, so I do actually need to put a shade on the lower lash line. I always want to emphasize my YesStyle, but I am actually going to go ahead and put this one up because I really want to do something else, and that is during the Black Friday sale, Fenty was 30% off, and I've always wanted to try the Diamond Balm, so I'm going to use the Diamond Balm for my under lash line today. I have a feeling I'm going to get a lot of fallout from this, but I just really want to try it. Okay, yeah, perfect. I've always wanted to try this formula, and a lot of people are like, oh, I don't really like it because it's super glittery, but like that's exactly why I want to try it, is because it's super glittery. I've been using it off camera on my face. I bought a total of 3 colors. I've been using the other 2 colors on my face off camera, and I've really liked the results, but this is my first time using the white one on my eyes. And yeah, I'm getting a little bit of fallout, but whatever. I love how my eyes look. This is amazing. Again, it's just so hard to capture on camera. Like I could try. I kind of can see it with the lights down, so I just have my side lights on, so it's really kind of catching the eyeshadows more. You can kind of see it now. It is just overwhelmingly beautiful. If you want more accurate swatches, definitely go to Bad to the Brow. And also if you want photo swatches, go to Temptalia's website, because she actually takes like 3 to 5 different photos from different angles on her wrist to really show all the shadows shiftings. So yeah, just go there. My swatches are awful. But yeah, I am in love with this makeup look so far. I think this looks amazing. So the last thing I need is a nice pair of lashes. I'm not gonna put on mascara because I already put on mascara once today, and I don't want to have to take it off again because I'm gonna start losing eyelashes. So my lower lashes are just going to not exist for today's look, but I'm trying to preserve my eyelashes. I'm really trying to get them to grow. When I got my lash lift done, the lash technician told me that my right eyelashes were really nice, but my left eyelashes were really damaged. So I don't know how that happened because I don't wear mascara every day, but that's what she said. So I've like been using my lash serum every day, hoping that I can get my left eyelashes to not be so damaged the next time I go in. And I'm actually going to go ahead and show you guys this magnetic lashes because I think my eye look is crazy enough that I can use these safely. These are the only problem I have with the doe magnetic lashes so far, is that the ones that exist are all very long, and so if I don't have a very big eye look going on, it just covers up all my eyeshadow. But I think this will be good. It's called Old School, and these, I was really nervous to try magnetic lashes because as I have monolids, I was afraid they wouldn't actually stay on, but these actually are pretty good. Now, I really hate the eyeliner applicator. It's the dip thing, but I understand, whatever, do what you gotta do. But it works fine. Other than that, I mean, it's black, it stays on. So I'm just gonna run this. And now because I have monolids, when my eyes are open, you can't actually see the eyeliner if I don't draw a wing. So the fact that I have to use black eyeliner doesn't really bother me because you can't see, like, my monolids hide everything. So in the case of magnetic eyeliner, it actually works in my favor that you can't see it. And now I'm just gonna not open my eyes because you do need to give it time to dry. I'm gonna go straight into my other eye. I do really want to get the Glamnetic and Hello Kitty set, mostly just because they come with those adorable miniature suitcases I can use to decorate my house. You know, they're very expensive, so I haven't gotten them yet. I was hoping they would like go on sale, but they didn't really have much of a sale for the Hello Kitty ones. So hopefully one day, if I run into $100 bills on the floor, I'll buy it, kind of a thing, you know? So now you do have to wait for it to dry, which is kind of the most annoying part, so I'm just closing my eyes and fanning my eyes, hoping that they'll dry. You definitely want to make sure you don't do anything funny to your eyes right now. Let it dry all the way. Definitely the most kind of annoying part, but it still only takes maybe 10 to 20 seconds in my experience. And I would say my right eye is pretty much dry. So again, I'm like still kind of letting my eyes stay almost closed just because I don't feel like, just because I want to make sure everything is where it belongs. But here is what the lash looks like. It's really pretty, it's just very long. I wish they would make some shorter ones. Now, the doe lash applicator is also metal, so it'll stick to the magnets, which, I mean, it's fine, just letting you guys know in advance. So now I'm just gonna stick it on. And like, I feel like a long time ago, magnetic lashes were kind of like a joke. Like I was like, why do companies still make them? Because nobody buys them. But lately, like, a lot of brands have been making magnetic lashes. Like, I saw that Angela Bright recently had, like, sponsored posts for, like, I think Velour? Velour has magnetic ones now. So I'm really hoping that means that our technology has improved, because it's just the most convenient thing ever to be able to have magnetic lashes, especially if you are sensitive to lash glue. And personally, these don't feel uncomfortable to me. Like, I can't feel the magnets and the band doesn't feel that heavy to me. And it's not, like, you can see my monolids are still pushing up against them. My eyes look a lot bigger and more open with these on. Now, if you have epicanthic folds, you never should put false lashes completely to the inner corners of your eyes, because every time you blink, the inner part of the lash is going to stab your epicanthic fold. It feels horrible. So never, ever, ever put them all the way to your inner corner. If you don't have an epicanthic fold, obviously do what you want. But if you do have them, that area can be really, really sensitive to lash bands. So I always, the most I'll put mine in, as you can see, is right here, but like all the way to the inner corner, no, that's not happening. Making sure you guys know, just really don't do it. You're gonna hurt yourself. So as you can see, my eyeshadow is not covered up. I think these lashes complement my eye look really well. They're thick and long enough that they don't disappear. Like if I wore a wispier pair with these, then you wouldn't even see my lashes. I've not tested these on a windy day, but I did wear these to Thanksgiving dinner with my family. I was out all day and these did stay on, you know, inside a home setting, these did stay on the entire time. No popping off, no inner corner funkiness. Just make sure you put on enough liner. These are really nice. They are expensive, but I've noticed magnetic lashes, they seem like they're pretty expensive. So, and these, I can't see myself wearing them out quickly because there's no glue. I just take them on and off. I approve. These are monolid approved, which I was never expecting to be able to say for magnetic false lashes, but they are. Okay, so I'm gonna finish up the rest of the face now, and I'm just gonna be keeping it pretty light. So I'm actually gonna use this Givenchy Prism Libre Loose Powder in the shade Organza Caramel. I actually think this has been discontinued, which is a shame because this is really good. But it's meant to be like a setting powder for like deeper complexions. I don't use it that way. I use it as a face palette. So you can see on the lid, I have 4 colors. So I'm gonna take the lightest one first, and I'm gonna just kind of dab that under my eyes just to make sure the under eyes are set. I do want to mattify my face a little bit because my eyeshadow is pretty intense, so I don't want my face to be so dewy that it like takes away from everything. And because I use this as a face palette, I kind of get the powder setting effects and the color in one go, so I don't have to apply 2 layers of powder. That's what I like this for. Despite it being a loose powder, this is my powder I bring when I travel because then I can just use it across my entire face and put on blush and bronzer at the same time. Okay, so I set the center of my face with just the light powder. So now I'm gonna go into blush side and I'm going to apply, this is just kind of a peachy pink. So I feel like is a very good blush shade to wear with any makeup look. So like if your eyes are super crazy, then just this peachy pink here, I notice is just kind of a good catch-all throw it on shade. It'll go well with anything. And you can see that as I apply the blush, it not only is adding blush to my face, but it's also mattifying my cheeks. And if I think the peach is too much, I can mix it with that lighter colored powder. And now the half of this quad is very bronzery, so I always end up having bronzer I don't need. But what I do is I take the setting powder and I mix it with the bronzer shade, so that way it becomes a lot less intense, and I really am just using the cap as a mixer. Definitely don't be afraid to tap off excess. And then I'm gonna go and use this on the outer perimeter of my face as the bronzer. It is pretty warm, but if you mix it with that setting powder, it's a lot more manageable. So it is kind of cumbersome to use as a face palette because again, you're working with loose powders, but the results are really worth it, I think. And now I just have the dark powder left, so I am going to use just a little bit to kind of darken up the edges of my face the most. And you definitely want to exercise caution here because this is where it's pretty easy to go overboard and turn yourself orange. Alright, next I'm gonna put on a little bit of highlighter, just a little bit. And I don't have a blue highlighter. I'm like totally need to get one. I know a lot of people are like super against glittery highlights, but I don't know, I think they're really pretty. It's like, it can't emphasize your texture. Like it sounds really, it sounds like it doesn't make sense, but if you use a glittery highlighter, you're not emphasizing texture because the texture of the sparkliness is already there. Like there is no texture it can enhance because it already has its own texture. They show their own texture, which to some people is not a good look. I don't know, I like it. This is a really great thing to put like all over your eyeshadow too if you wanted to. I have the shades Royal Icing and Rosé Stay Rave. These are the other two shades I got. I got this one from the Fenty website. I don't think it's on Sephora. But they were all 30% off, so I thought, why not? The last thing to do is the lips, and I'm thinking the lips, just an MLBB shade, maybe a little bit darker. And this video is so long, I'm so sorry, but I just have so many cool things to show you guys. So I got Morphe Backseat Love during the Black Friday sale. I've been wanting to get it for a while, but I never had a reason to buy it because if I just buy this, I pay so much in shipping, but Morphe had their sale, so I picked up some JACLYN Cosmetics and then I threw this in. It's darker than I expected. I know Pony's videos are often pretty overexposed and very washed out. She definitely has blurring filters on several of them. So Backseat Love looked to me like my perfect lip liner, but it's actually a little bit darker than I expected. I will still use it up. It is still a nice lip liner. It still matches my lip tone enough, but I don't think I'm gonna repurchase it. I think my hunt for the perfect lip liner that I want shall continue. Formula-wise though, it's fine. I have nothing to criticize. This is a great lip liner formula. It's just that the color wasn't quite what I was hoping it would be. Okay, so I overlined my lips a little bit more than I expected because it's late and I'm not thinking whatever. So let me find a lipstick shade, and I think today I'm gonna use the Dewy Full Water Tint in If Rose. I think this will be good. Do you see how it's just like my lips look better? And it is glossy. I mean, then it's in the name. It's a water tint, but it is smooth in its coverage. It is pigmented and it feels less like shiny and more like just smooth. So it's not making my lips look juicy, it's just making my lips look healthy. And it's very thin. It's not thick at all. Yeah, I just wish I had a blue highlighter. I have talked for long enough. Let me take my greasy hair down. I'm gonna shampoo it tonight. I just need to exercise and then I'll shampoo it. Yeah, Mom, my hair is so oily right now. I also just got my bangs trimmed and I always have to ask them to trim it shorter than I want it so that it can grow into the length, or else it will be the perfect length for all of like 3 days and then it'll be too long. Here is the finished look. I think it looks amazing. I love how this turned out. I am a big fan of this palette. Blend Bunny is super, super surprising. Like, I had high expectations and I had a feeling my expectations would be met, but at the same time, it's one thing to see it and be in anticipation and it's another thing to use it. So love, love, love. My Roman collection has just like eaten like all the rest of my lip. Like, I swear my collection of lips, it's 90% Roman at this point and I don't even care because I love it so much. I'm gonna take photos of this for Instagram, and in the meantime, I'm gonna finish the video here. I've talked long enough. Thank you guys so, so much for watching. In the meantime, I hope you guys are enjoying your December and I'll be back very, very soon. Bye!